And welcome in, guys. This is Laces Out Podcast, week number 7, brought to you by ourselves because we're not sponsored by anybody. Here we are, me and Jay Bunk. We have Waterboy, possibly might be showing up a little bit later. He's a working man, Jay Bunk. He's a working man. We just had the opportunity to get off work a little early today, and yeah, man. Week 7 is underway, man. What you think?
Yes, sir, man. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, man. Started out with a pretty crappy game last night, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah, let's actually talk about that now. I mean, the Giants at Eagles, and honestly, I didn't watch that full game, but I was watching just about the whole fourth quarter, and from what I saw, the Giants had the game won. All they had to do, there's a couple times when they could have just honestly just won the game. One was Evan Ingram. If he would have caught the first down, they didn't have to punt the ball back to the Eagles, and we would have had a different outcome. The Giants would have won that game. And then even going down after that punt, Eagles came down, and there's a lot of pass interference calls, and it just about gave them a free touchdown because it could have been a fourth down decision. Obviously, you would have had to go for it because they were down by so much. But yeah, like, what do you think about that last like 2 minutes?
100%, man. I was listening to an interview of Daniel Jones before the game with Steve Smith, and he was just saying how they very easily could be like 4-2 or 4-1 or whatever, but they
Yep.
they just can't close. They've been losing close games, and same thing happened last night, man. Like you said, if Evan Ingram would have caught that ball, it's game over.
I mean, it reminds me literally of the Falcons on just how they are playing and how like they're getting so close and just bombing in it toward the end and like you said, like the Giants had a lot of opportunities. I actually picked the Giants in our one of our polls for the pick'em, and I thought I had it locked. I was like, oh wow, we're up a little, and then I saw the Eagles score. I was like, okay, well, get a couple first downs and the game's over, and Evan Ingram drops the ball wide open. They punt the ball to Wentz, and Wentz goes down like the Wentz back in the day, and made a great throw to Boston Scott for the touchdown, and then didn't leave them any time. And like I said, I think the reason of that game or of they didn't have any time was because of the Giants' defense. All these pass interference calls and. If they would have just let them score, they would at least have a shot to go down there and kick a field goal. But
For sure.
not the case, not the case. But that was at least. I mean, it wasn't the best game. I mean, from Giants Eagles. Obviously, we're not that excited about that game because it's not the best two teams. So we were just like whatever. But it still turned out to be an okay game and. A decent Thursday night football game coming down to the wire. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some other games. Do you have any games you want to highlight this week?
I'm excited about the Titans Steelers game. Two 5-0 teams
Yes.
going at each other. You got the Steelers defense going up against the Titans offense. Man, I mean, the combination of Tannehill and Derrick Henry lately has just been looking unstoppable. So I'm interested to see them against the top defense in the league, like the Steelers.
Yeah.
What about you?
And then yeah. Oh, I love that game too. I mean, Steelers have a good defense. I mean, even the Titans have a pretty good defense, and I think it just comes down to, who can stop who. Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been looking terrible, but even that whole offense. But I think you're right. I think if they can stop Mr. Derrick Henry and maybe slow down a little bit of Tannehill. Tannehill's been playing really well. Like I'm talking about like top 10 quarterback just about every time he plays, and he's just looking phenomenal, just hitting the right targets and everything. And
Yep.
yeah, he AJ Brown's a great guy also to play if you guys are in some fantasy. Obviously he's a lot guy like John Smith. Just because they're playing the Steelers, don't take these guys out. I mean, these guys are must starts, and when it
Right.
comes to the Steelers side, Ben Roethlisberger, I like that play. I like obviously James Conner. You got Deontay Johnson out there. I don't know about. I guess Juju's up there, but Juju hasn't been playing too hot recently.
Yeah, I would
Uh,
fade him, man, against the Titans. I think they got a good enough defense. I
yeah,
mean,
that's why.
I would still start Claypool.
Yeah, that's why I think Claypool and Deontay John. I think they have a better shot at putting more points up, just because the Titans, they're gonna lock down Juju, and I think it's gonna open up the door to more opportunities with the other receivers for the Steelers. So.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. I think it's going to be really defensive, and I don't think it's going to be too high scoring, but might get surprised. But looking around, uh, there's a big game that I actually want to see is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the I almost said Oakland Raiders, but I'd say Las Vegas Raiders. Um, the Raiders have beat the Chiefs. The Buccaneers had beat the Packers. These two teams have shown up whenever they needed to against top teams in the NFL, and now they get to go up against each other. Tampa has a great run defense. Raiders have a great runner, being Josh Jacobs. So I really would like to see how they do this, because the Raiders have a decent defense as well. Tom Brady's been playing phenomenal for the last couple weeks. And I picked him to bust this past week, and it wasn't the case. He actually did pretty well against the Packers. So, but I mean, what do you think about this game? And I know we just made a trade, guys. I'm just gonna let you know, Mr. Josh Jacobs was on my team, and now J Bunk just claimed him today. Actually, this afternoon it happened. So, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, well, as a Jacobs owner, I hope I hope that run defense of Tampa isn't too good. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. Like you said, both teams have showed up when they needed to against top competition, and now they get to face off against each other. I think it's going to be interesting to see. Tampa's defense, man. I mean, that's the story of Tampa. Like, we knew Tom Brady, is pretty consistent. He doesn't make the blow you away plays, but he makes the safe plays and keeps your team in the game. So we knew their offense with the weapons that they have was going to be, formidable, against top competition. But the defense is what's making the headlines, man. They've been shutting teams down. I mean, the way they looked against the Packers was like scary good. I mean,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. I mean, that's one of the top offenses in the league, and they shut them down completely.
And coming just to pick the team who I think is going to win. Like, the funny thing is I had the Raiders at the beginning of the week, and for some reason it itched me to change my pick, and I switched it to Tampa. And the reason is Tom Brady is a guy who, you get him in a groove, you get him in a role, and especially him beating a undefeated team like the Green Bay Packers. I think it comes down to just, I think he's just gonna keep rolling with it.
Right.
And yeah, I don't see anything really stopping him. I think once he's on, he's on. So, welcome in Hewitt. I know came in here. He said, "I just got home, so welcome in, buddy." Another game that I really kind of want to talk about is the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. Now we saw. Think about this. The mobile quarterbacks. Both these quarterbacks are top, literally 5 in QBs. So I think this could be a shootout. The Cardinals look pretty good. This past did they play Monday? I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played against the Cowboys, and I don't know if it's just the Cowboys suck or if it's the Cardinals just look that good, but whatever it is, I know that hyped them up, that big win over the Cowboys, and if they can continue to roll like that, the Seahawks might have a competition going. Especially, it's going to be in Arizona, so this could be a game, man. But it's going to be hard to stop Dangerous for sure, though. Any comments on this one?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. Both offenses are dangerous. Both have weapons. Got Russell going against Murray, Metcalf, Hopkins. I mean, I would say it's going to come down to who can get a stop, man. Whose defense steps up. We know what the offenses are capable of. They're both high-powered. I want everybody in this game fantasy wise, man. Hopkins, Murray, Russell, DK, probably Lockett, you know, and then probably even Drake and Carson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be an offensive game, but it's gonna come down to who can get the stop as far as who gets the dub.
Yeah, and you just know, Kyler and Hopkins are just they're unreal, man. They really are. That's just one of those duos that I think everyone knew going into the season they were going to be nice, but I don't know if people knew they were going to be this nice.
Right.
Kyler, he honestly reminds me of like how Vic used to do and just scramble around, and he's just so quick, man. It's crazy. And then adding that to also his arm, and I think he might have watched a little bit of Russell Wilson and see how he plays too, because he kind of mimics somehow some of his gameplay as well. So
Right.
like I said, I think this is gonna be a good game, and going into the final game of Week 7, Bears at Rams, the LA Rams. I think this game is going to be really defensive. The Bears have a really good defense, and I think a lot of people really aren't showing. The Rams have good defense too, but I'm pretty sure I saw a stat where it said the Bears are, I think, in the top 3 of the least amount of scoring to the quarterback position. So and that's what Goff does. If he throws a ton if he can't get the run game going, but the Bears are just a good all around defense. So, and also the Bears, I think Mr. Nick Foles is going to have a tough time getting the ball out with Aaron Donald in his face. So we'll see. I don't know. Is there any kind of any favorite for you in this game? I mean the Bears are. Their record is crazy. I don't understand how they have the record they do.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely one of the surprises of the season so far, 5-1. I mean, once they benched Trubisky, it's like they just took off. Foles,
Yeah.
Foles is the same thing, man. He's one of those quarterbacks like I was talking about Brady and Bridgewater. Like they're not flashy. They're not, they're not Mahomes. They're not necessarily going to make the plays to win you the game, but they're smart enough to make the plays to not lose you the game.
Yeah.
So, and that defense, man, the Bears' defense is back. Like, they looked off last year, but they've returned to being one of the most dominant defenses in the league this year.
Yep.
It's going to be tough, man. I don't even know. I would, as far as a winner, I don't know, man. I think I'll pick the Rams as far as the winner. As far as fantasy goes, I think Montgomery's going to have a tough go at it with the Rams front 7. We got Aaron Donald stopping the run, and I think it's going to be a tough sledding for Montgomery. But I mean, the Rams side, probably Henderson. I know he's questionable right now, but if he plays, you probably want to start him.
Remember also the Rams got the cornerback Mr. Jalen Ramsey to lock down on Allen Robinson too. So Allen Robinson might have a bust kind of week, and I'm not going to use him as my bust. I mean, maybe if I can't find anyone else, but it's very possible that he will bust. But since we're talking about booms and busts, we can get straight into it, and I'll pop up the record for us. And guys, if Mr. Waterboy does not show up for this podcast, we still will get his picks of the week. We always do if someone misses it. So we will get a text or something from him and saying what his boom and busts are. But speaking of him, not being here, I would congratulate him, but he's not here. But let me say. He's 4-2. The dude's 4-2. I think we were all similar records going into last week, and he went 2-0 last week, and we just went 1-1. I think me and you have both gone 1-1 for the past 3 weeks. So
Yep.
I don't know, and it's funny because there's some I called it's not one-sided either. It's like sometimes I'll get the boom right, sometimes I'll get the bust right. I'm not
Right.
consistent right now when it comes to boom or bust. It's just I'm 3-3. You're 3-3. Hopefully we can catch up to Mr. Waterboy and go from there. But I guess the good news is since we're live now, we get to pick ours first. So if you have yours ready, go ahead. I'm gonna start looking for mine.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm gonna go with 2 running backs this week. I think for my boom, I'm going Mr. Kareem Hunt. With the Browns going up against the Bengals, I'll look for him to have a big game. And then for my bust, I'm gonna go Mr. James Robinson of the Jaguars going against the Chargers. Chargers got a tough run defense.
Yeah.
Jaguars haven't been looking that good lately. What started out as a great story for James Robinson, kind of a breakout year, has kind of been sidetracked a little bit. He hasn't been as dominant the last few weeks. So I think it's a tough matchup for him. So I'm going to go. He's going to be my bust this week.
So James Robinson is your bust, and who was your boom again?
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. Oh, okay. I'm going to go with my boom. I'm going to go with wide receiver, and I got the correct bust on him last time, and it's Mr. Scary Terry, man. I got to go back to him, man. He has a great matchup going up against one of the worst defenses in the league, the Dallas Cowboys. And I think he is going to completely boom this game, guys. We've seen him bust in the past, and that's because of the matchup. I think he is such a matchup king to where, if the matchup isn't there for him, he's not going to perform. And then if the matchup is there for him, he's going to kill it. So I think he, will definitely be one of those boom players for you. So if you have him in, on your bench or something, throw him into your starting spot. Now, there's more booms that I would love to say. I mean, I think that whole Buffalo Bills team is going to boom against the New York Jets, but that's not fair. I'm not going to say that anymore. And also, guys, I will say another boom that I would say. The one that on my record is Terry McLaurin. Let's say that. The other one that I would want also is Gio, man. We just got news today that Joe Mixon is not going to be playing. He is out with an injury, and I think Mr. Gio Bernard is one of those sneaky plays this week going into or going up against Cleveland. And Cleveland isn't the best defense at all, so I think that's a little sneaky play for anyone who's trying to get something else. But oh man, bust wise. Well, I'll stick with the receivers. You go running backs. I'll stick with the receivers. I'm going to go. We talked about him earlier. Juju Smith-Schuster. I think he's going to be covered by the Titans. And yeah, I think it just comes down to it where he's not going to get the targets because I think he's going to be completely double coverage. And even if he's not double coverage, he's going to be on the best corner for the Tennessee Titans. So, and there's another receiver that I would also say that could possibly bust. We talked about him earlier, Allen Robinson, going up against the Rams. So, Jalen Ramsey will probably be shadowing him all day. But like I said, that's just another one. That's a little extra tip for you guys. If you have Allen Robinson and you might have a better matchup, you might want to fade him. But the reason why I'm not picking Allen Robinson over Juju as my bust is because Allen Robinson gets the targets and Juju is not even close to where those targets are when it comes to being receiver. So I'm definitely busting on Juju Smith-Schuster this week.
All over it.
And yeah, and then my boom is Terry McLaurin. So we will get Waterboy's picks here soon, and obviously we want him to not kill it like he's been doing. We need to catch up, man. We need to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some questions coming in. Let's go ahead and start doing some Q&As. Is CMC worth trading or trading for? What do you think?
If I am a team that's going to make the playoffs, I would trade for him. I think, anybody with an injury like that, their value is going to be declined a little bit, but he's still CMC. I would see what you could give up for him. If you, like I said, if you're going to make the playoffs and you've got a good enough record to afford, an injured player for a couple more weeks, I would trade for him, man. I mean, he's going to be a stud going in, to the fantasy playoffs. So
yeah, as long as
I'm
he stays
trading
healthy.
for him.
And here's another thing is I wouldn't try to reach out for Mike Davis yet unless you have him. If you have both of these guys, then just keep them, hold on to them. But if you, because I did this earlier, in one of my leagues, I had CMC. Obviously, he's been on my IR, and I traded, and he wasn't the main reason why I got it. It was just a little bit of a extra push. I got Mike Davis in return because if this happens again, you're gonna want to have Mike Davis. Mike Davis looks great. When CMC goes down, you guys know he's the guy. Just like how Gio Bernard is the guy for Joe Mixon, just like Tony Pollard's the guy for the Zeke Elliott, just like Alexander Madison's the guy for Dalvin Cook. So you want that handcuff, and it's not like where they're splitting, anything. It's Mike Davis. It's Mike Davis. Right. So, and also if you're trying to trade, the thing is since he's hurt, and you got him, if you're gonna trade him away, you better be getting some stud talent, guys. Like, sure. I mean, if you've held on to him this long, that hurt, then you have to, you held on to him for a reason. He's a stud. So, if you're going to trade him, make sure you're getting a good return of investment, because you held him that long. You might as well just wait till he comes back, which should be in a maybe a week or two. Let's see what else kind of questions we got coming. What about the Titans and Steelers? We talked about that, Shadow. We think it's going to be a really defensive game. I think whoever comes out on top on defense is going to win that game. And if the Steelers can hold Derrick Henry, I think they got that one. Hewitt also asks, if Aaron Jones doesn't play, do I start Rodgers over Mahomes? If Aaron Jones doesn't play, do I start Rodgers over Mahomes? Okay, so you're saying like they're not going to switch up the game plan if Aaron Jones is out. Jamal Williams has always been the guy right behind him. They still got A.J. Dillon too, which we might see a little bit of A.J. Dillon, which would be nice to see how well he is. But Jamal Williams is going to fill the role exactly how Aaron Jones is. So if Aaron Jones doesn't play, and if you have Aaron Jones, make sure you have Jamal Williams, because that's going to be the guy second in line. And but when it comes to quarterbacks, I would not start Rodgers over Mahomes just because of the running backs out. What do you think, Bunk?
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm trying to get Jamal Williams if I have Aaron Jones.
Even if you don't have him, I would still try to grab him for a week. I mean,
they're going against the Texans.
That they're going to run. They are going to run. The Texans have one of the worst run defenses in the league, and it doesn't matter who's running the ball. I think anyone can get 100-plus yards. So I think Jamal Williams is going to be just fine, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers.
You saw what Derrick Henry did last week. I mean, he had 280 scrimmage yards.
Right, and that's another thing is I don't think Aaron Rodgers is still gonna throw and do his thing, but I'm just saying they're not gonna switch anything up just because Aaron Jones isn't playing.
Right.
It's just next guy in line. That's what it comes down to for Green Bay. Hewitt says, "Crap, just traded Scary Terry." Now I still might trade him this week. I actually have some guys who are, interested in him. Actually, right now, after this podcast, I might be making a trade. Who knows?
Hey.
I will. J-Buck don't know about this, but I will say, he's gonna have a good week this week, and he's really matchup based. So. But yeah, I think he's gonna boom this week, man. Going up against Dallas. Dallas is giving, I think, the most points up against wide receivers. So, look forward to him popping off. So, but I mean, hey, if you traded him, it's not a big deal. He's one of those guys who you could literally pick the boom or bust each week, because he's gonna be that kind of player. He's not really consistently getting you points every single week. He's gonna have low scoring, but also he's got a high ceiling. So that's the good part about him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just Scary Terry. He's on a bad team with a bad quarterback.
That's what's so scary about him.
but he is the number one target, so he's gonna get his targets. It's just what he does with them and how accurate are the passes.
Another thing,
that's all it comes down to.
When I look into receivers, I really love looking at target shares. So, like, if you guys can look up targets, and same thing with tight ends, I'm the same way. I love looking up how many targets they get per game, and just kind of whoever has the top 10 targets in the whole league, I mean, you can really count on them because, just because they're on a bad team like Scary Terry or, I would say Allen Robinson. They're on a 5-1 team though, but in the past, that's how it was. Allen Robinson was one of those guys. They might not have the best record, but the dude's getting the ball, getting thrown to 12 to 15 times a game, and
For sure. It's just like Jamison Crowder.
Jamison Crowder is a perfect example.
The Jets are 0-6, but yet he's putting up 15 fantasy points a game just because of the targets.
Yeah, he's a perfect example because. That team is just terrible, but I would start Jamison Crowder each and every week if you don't have, top tier receivers because of just how much the target share is. So, he's their guy. He's the only guy on the Jets I think I'd start, honestly. I'm not. I don't think there's anyone else I would start on that team.
You don't like Joe Flacco, man?
0 point Flacco. I don't think I do. Shadow just said, I think you need to make sure you check this because he says, I think boom is Raheem Mostert because the Pats D-line was not good and bust Waller.
Mostert is out.
Mostert's hurt, man. He's completely out, so you would have lost that one.
Possibly McKinnon, but Mostert is out.
He says bust was Waller because the Bucs are going to focus on it. I think the Bucs are really going to focus on Josh Jacobs. I think they're going to try to stop that run, and they got to be careful, man, because Henry Ruggs is on the field as well. So, that team can be deadly. So I don't know. We'll see, Shadow. We'll see. But you change your boom, man, because Mostert is out. Do you know what a good he's saying, do you know what a good segment would be? Name best and worst D match ups this week. I think that'd be kind of easy though, because if you think about it, it'd just be like whoever plays the Jets, I'm picking their defense. And now, if we weren't to cheat, then you can't pick them. You can't pick whoever's playing the Jets. But
I would say the Jets or the Cowboys.
Big news. Just a great big alert update just now. This just in. Michael Thomas is out for Sunday with his hamstring. He had a high ankle sprain is the reason why he was out for a long time. But now he's out with a hamstring. That dude has not played a full game this year. What's your thoughts on that? I got 2 shares of this, dude. I'm kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll keep my X-rated thoughts to myself.
You're not gonna call him a slant guy, huh?
Slant boy.
Oh man. If Julio Jones get traded, where do you think he is going? I don't think Julio Jones is gonna get traded.
He ain't getting traded.
His home's in Atlanta, man. If he were to go somewhere, I would like to see him go somewhere.
Preferably outside of the NFC East or South.
South, sorry. Yeah. Get him out of the Panthers division, please. I think that's all the questions. Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, we pretty much went over the key injuries.
Yeah, especially Michael Thomas. Yeah,
Mixon's out.
Yep. Aaron Jones might be out. Is he completely out yet?
Is questionable.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I'll say who's not out, who was very likely, it was a 50-50 shot, was Noah Fant. Noah Fant, all the way till Thursday, he finally was a full participant. So he finally is a
So Aaron Jones is going to be a game time decision, so
that's tough.
I want to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's tough. If I was an Aaron Jones owner, make sure you watch out for that. He says Boom, Fuller, or Watson. Who's the Texans going up against?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs? I don't know, man. They don't have.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I think Packers.
No, Packers. Yeah.
Texans, Packers.
I don't know. The reason why I wouldn't say those guys either, you got Jair Alexander going with the Packers, man. That's one of the top corners in the league. He's really fast. He can keep up with Fuller, and I don't see anyone really bombing it on the Packers, unless they just have so many weapons, and that is not the case for the Texans. They are running away scared just about. Deshaun Watson is just one of those guys where, if he doesn't have, or if he's getting rushed the whole time, he's got to hit his tight end, Mr. Fells. That's a guy who I would look out for, honestly. Thoughts on Schultz with Dalton? Well, we see Dalton doesn't have too much time either. I think Schultz is still going to be okay. I wouldn't drop him if you're. I'm keeping him on my team at least. Now, I'm playing the matchup when it comes to tight ends, and Schultz, I think I'm still going to give him a chance just because the tight end spot for the Cowboys is still relevant. But when it comes to, honestly, any receiver on that Cowboys team besides Amari Cooper, I'm fading. Like, we talked about how that's one thing that I would like to talk about too, is because beginning of, 3 weeks ago when we started this podcast, think about it. We were talking about, well, we started this podcast a week 2, so it wasn't that. But anyway, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, and Amari Cooper. And we were saying all those guys are startable. That was before the Dak injury. Once Dak got injured, all that went out the window, guys. Let's just talk. Amari Cooper's honestly the only guy who I would even trust. I'm not even trusting him that much right now with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton scares the living shit out of me when it comes to being a quarterback in the NFL right now. They just don't look like they don't look like an NFL team. They just, hopefully they can pick it up and figure it out and start getting some chemistry, but they do not look like they have any type of chemistry at all when it comes to any wide receiver in Dalton. So he scares me. Schultz still gets his targets. That's the only reason why I like Schultz still. But keep it week by week because Schultz could be droppable if Andy Dalton doesn't even look his way, which I think they'll be on the field a lot offensively. So I think that he's going to still get some targets, and also Zeke's still obviously a play. He's one of those guys who could be even getting more workload. Just because of Dalton doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, especially if Zach Martin's out. Zach Martin's one of his, big time offensive linemen, and if he is not there, they're going to be in trouble, and they're going to be running around and trying to dump it off to Zeke and Schultz and any kind of crossing route. So, yeah. He said, Hewitt was saying, was last game a fluke with Dalton, or is it going to be normal? Let's hope it was a fluke. I think it's actually normal. Like I said, I think they don't have chemistry. I think it's going to take them at least 3 weeks to get that. And by then, I don't know. I think that team's about to fall apart without Dak, man. I really thought that team had a big chance of, maybe if they would have worked out their defense. Because I still think they could, figure out chemistry on offense. They might be able to get it going. But their defense is just terrible. I don't think they're going to score enough, basically. So, but that's basically it, man. Do you anything else?
No, I agree, man. I would stick with Zeke and Amari, though. I mean, like we were talking about with the Jets, man, with Jamison Crowder being fantasy relevant. I mean, your stars are going to carry the team. But I would look over the next couple games who Dalton develops chemistry with. Usually when quarterbacks have to step in like that, they find a guy that becomes their favorite target. So I would look over the next few weeks if I needed a wide receiver or whatever to see who
it could honestly be Gallup. It could be Gallup. It could be Lamb. if he figures out one person that he just absolutely loves, then you know, that could be a guy. But you know, right now, it's one of those things that I'm just gonna fade them. Besides Cooper and Zeke, and just kind of watch out because right now it just if that's the way that they're gonna play, it's not gonna be good for the Cowboys at all, offense or defense.
The good thing about their defense being so bad is they're a lot of times behind, so you get garbage points. Like Amari last week, he got a fourth quarter touchdown. Like, I mean, they're gonna get the garbage points. That's your only consolation prize.
Yep. They'll be on the field a lot as well. I mean, they'll definitely be on the field a lot. Dallas Cowboys defense is just gonna let them. I don't know. I don't think there's any shot for that team, especially on defense. I mean, they might put it together, like I said, like you're saying, get that garbage points for your fantasy team. But when it comes to as an NFL team, no shot. Cowboys are out. I honestly think they are the worst team in that division. I still would even put them behind Washington. I think I would. I think defense wins games, and if you don't have a defense, you're not going to win a game.
I agree.
Trying to think if there's any other like key players that you want to look out for. Let me look at some of the matchups just to see. I mean, like I said, Bills. Any of the Bills, you know, I'm starting all of them. You know, Josh Allen's going to have a hell of a game. You know, Stephon Diggs. I even throw Beasley in there if you're in a deep league.
I think Browns Bengals is going to be a hard game. Like you said, Gio.
I think, dude, Kyle Allen. Like, if you're in a 2-quarterback league, Kyle Allen's even a play for Washington. They're going up against the Cowboys. I already talked crap about them, and it comes down to literally just you Scary Terry. Who's going to throw to him? I just told you he's going to have a breakout game, Kyle Allen. So look out for him. Antonio Gibson's another decent play I'd like.
I like Galladay going against the Falcons.
I love Galladay going up against the Falcons, and then vice versa. I think that the Lions could give up a good bit of points to the Falcons too. I think you could start a lot of the Falcons this week. I think Todd Gurley's a good play. Obviously Julio. You know, having Julio in that game is such a big deal for the whole team. He literally makes the whole team better. He makes Todd Gurley better. He makes even Gage better. He makes Calvin Ridley better. He makes literally everybody better on that team. So, you know, I'm starting all the Falcons as well. And then Bengals. Bengals and Browns. I think they can both shine. I will say, depending on how Baker is going to do, I know he's questionable. I know his ribs was hurting. I don't know if you have an update on that, but I do know that he was questionable as of today. So it's going to be possibly a game time decision for Baker Mayfield, and if that's the case, then
he's not on the injury report.
Okay, that's good.
So I'm assuming he should be good to
Austin
go.
Hooper, he is out, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, he is definitely out.
Yeah, so that's another guy who you're going to have to make a fill-in for. Panther, we haven't even talked about our own team, man. Panthers, Saints. Anyone you're looking out for in those games? I think any of the Saints players are good to go, especially if you say Michael Thomas is out. Well, boom, you got Emmanuel Sanders. I will say the Panthers.
Sanders is out this week.
Sanders is out. So who are you looking for? Traquan Smith, maybe?
I'd probably say Jared Cook.
Yeah.
Alvin
Kamara
is gonna
I don't know. Panthers. I'm going to say Alvin Kamara is going to have one of the best games. Like that could be definitely another boom, because you're looking at the Saints not having really any receivers, and if you look at the Panthers, they actually don't have a bad secondary when it comes to allowing points on that. Right. They allow a lot of rushing yards. So look for who's another little sneaky play who I actually like in this is Latavius Murray. If you have Latavius Murray and you don't have anyone else to play because you're hurting with injuries, he's not a bad flex play this week. They're going to be running the hell out of the ball. So Look for him too, and then obviously on the other side, Panthers offense. I like them all. I mean, I like Mike Davis. I like even Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think he's going to have a bad game. And then Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. I mean, I like him. I will fade Ian Thomas. He hasn't showed us anything this year, which is a letdown for the Carolina Panthers, man. I think we thought he was going to fill into the role of Greg Olsen, and he just did not. He just did not. It's funny. I was on the radio talking with 610 on the Panther station, and I called in one time, and I was just talking a little bit about Madden. You know how I do over there, and they asked me. I don't know why. They know I'm a Panthers fan, so they asked me how do I feel about Ian Thomas this year, and I hyped up the freaking Panther squad, and I said Ian Thomas is gonna fill in that role for Greg Olsen. So I was wrong on that. Call that a bust. But big time. I think you can start any Chiefs, man, and against the Broncos. And I think Noah Fant. Okay, here's another one. I think Noah Fant, since he's back, you got Drew Lock. They're finally going to be able to play together again. And if you look in the past, how many times they targeted Noah Fant, like that's Drew Lock's guy. That's his security blanket. So look forward to that. Look forward to that. And that actually could open up the door for Jerry Jeudy, who, finally might get some good games going. I don't know. I call him Jerry Jeudy Booty because right now he's not playing well. How do you feel about the 49ers defense, though, before we go? Like with all these injuries, what do you think?
I mean, they're still good, but they just have a ton of injuries, man.
Like, I don't know how to judge them anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they came from a top 5 team to a team that I don't even know if they can match up against, an average team.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm a mixed bag as well. I mean, they're still good. They've got talent. They've got speed, but there's just so many injuries, key players. I mean, it would be hard for me to trust them as my defense.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I think that's going to do it for Week 7 Laces Out podcast. Thanks for coming on, Jay Bunk. And maybe next week we'll have Mr. Waterboy. And also, by the way, we will get his picks for the Boom and Bust guys, so don't worry. And good luck to everyone in their fantasy matchups unless you're playing me.
Agreed.
All right, man. See you guys later. Peace out.